final countdown.
What? What is that? That is the coolest intro.
Yes.
Yes, I had a day off. I had a day off and I was bored, so I just added some extra special effects to our already awesome intro.
Cliff Dive logo explodes.
Yes.
Fire.
It was amazing.
And did you hear our countdown and all that other kind of stuff?
Yes.
And I heard-
all that stuff.
And I heard the little alarm go off in the beginning about the little pandemic sign.
Yes,
That was
yes.
amazing.
I'm so excited I did that. The more I learn, the more I can handle these graphics and stuff and putting things together and editing. I'm getting really excited about editing. I'm starting to really like it.
Welcome.
So,
Welcome to the editing world.
You have found your new calling. I love it.
I just need like more footage. Give me more footage and I'll make more videos,
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you. Well, anyway, we have a really great show tonight and we have to get through everything that we need to get through this evening. Before we do that, let's just start. This is the Tingling Tea. Here at the Tingling Tea, we talk about the strange and the supernatural, the creepy and the cryptid, the weird and the wonderful, and all that is phenomenally freaky. Can you all introduce yourselves while I pull up everything?
Mike, go ahead.
I am Mayhem Mike, a long time, first time, every time co-host. I've been here for about 37 millennia. It's been amazing. You can find me at Pure Mayhem on Instagram. Auggie is my nemesis, but I love him all the same.
Pure Mayhem has been, if he's been here a millennium, I have been here eons. Since the beginning of time. So my name is Auggie Ominous. I am, you can find me on Insta and right here. And I love talking about everything creepy, cryptid, and phenomenally freaky. And tonight I'm actually sporting a Trevor Project Williams-Sonoma mug.
Oh.
So you can get this. Let me try and get a good shot. You can get this online right now. All the proceeds go to the Trevor Project.
Nice.
So
Awesome.
it's actually an amazing,
That's a
amazing
beautiful
mug filled with my tea that we
I
can
love
spill
it.
tonight.
That's right. That's right. And I'm Les, aka SistaSlaya Frye. Yes, I'm here at the Tingling Tea, and you can find me everywhere. I am, just keep following Cliff Dive Productions, and you'll see where I'm at.
You'll see all the stuff.
Yeah, all the stuff that I'm at. So let's go for this. We want to stay on schedule tonight because we have a really packed show this evening with some awesome guests. So our show, Another Slice of Life, is coming up. It's postponed until April the 28th. So Auggie, could you just give our audience a little bit background about our show?
Sure, absolutely. So you can't really see it, but it says April 28th on the bottom of the screen. So, so what Another Slice of Life is about is we like to find people that have alternate lifestyles, people that don't normally get a forum to talk about their lifestyle, and ask them questions and try to understand where they're coming from. It's really an opportunity to normalize people that society tend to put to the side and sort of not understand and put in a negative light because they're misunderstood.
Awesome. Awesome. And before we start, we're just going to do a quick disclaimer. If you do not like creepy, scary stuff, this is not the show for you. This is what we discuss here, and some of the stuff that we discuss can really get into your psyche. And I literally try to scare people on this show. So I just want to know, to know that. And if you are someone who likes it and you have children in the room, we're asking that you please use parental guidance when looking at the show. You know how much your child can take. Some of us can take scary stuff, some of us can't. But I can only blame you if your child is scared of the stuff that we're showing this evening. So a lot of the videos that we're showing tonight will be put in post. I'm sorry, I forgot to add in post last week the stuff that we watched last week when Father Evil was on the show, but I will add it. And but I just want to let you know the stuff that we're watching tonight is footage that are compilations from other influencers out there who do the same thing. So we're thankful for any of the footage that we gather from them. So that's our disclaimer. And this is Ramadan. I wanted to wish everybody a Ramadan Mubarak, a Ramadan Kareem. So
Ramadan
this is a
Kareem.
month of faith. Yes, we're the month of fasting until May the 2nd. So I wish everybody a peaceful fast and that your fasting is acceptable to Allah. And so this is, I don't fast the month of Ramadan. I know a lot of people who are Christians fast during Lent,
Yes.
but yeah, that's something I have to learn to do. Try that one.
I do whatever the opposite of fasting is. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I'm not sure what that's called.
Seafood diet. You see food, you eat it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Now the thing about fasting is that you can eat after sundown.
Right.
So that's to let everybody know that they don't, people who observe Ramadan don't fast for a whole month without eating and everything. They're allowed to eat after sundown. So very interesting, and we could talk a little bit more about that. We could talk about that possibly on another slice of life.
Yeah, let's do that.
Ooh.
All right. So before we do anything, let's bring in our guests. We have some really awesome guests this evening.
Guests. Yes.
Yeah, some amazing guests this evening. First of all, we had our first guest I'm going to introduce. I had him on the Bitnapple, the Apple Bites, Bitnapple TV. Had him on Apple Bites about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Ralph and I had him on there. He is the front man for a group called Coventry Carols. It's like an alternative type, emo type music. He loves horror. When he found out about this show, he couldn't wait to come on the show. So without further ado, let's bring him in, John Soda James, otherwise known as Soda. What's up, Soda? Woo-hoo. Yep.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
And look, he's wearing his devil horns. See?
Yes,
Love
he has
his
a
little
mask on.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm ready. I have my Courage the Cowardly Dog shirt on.
Which is an amazing show, but okay. Okay.
I've got my tingling tea.
Oh, yes,
Excellent.
yes. Oh, my
Excellent.
God.
Cheers.
I am always in the spirit.
I have to tell you that Marty is one of my favorite people. The person that voices Courage the Cowardly
Yeah,
Dog.
yeah.
I actually interviewed him
Oh, wow.
at the Macabre. Yes, we're very close. We
That's
had a great
so cool.
interview. You have to go back and check that out.
Yeah, that's
And then-
awesome. I will.
Jason Alvino is a friend of John. He actually invited him onto the show because Jason is a writer of horror films, namely a little film called Itsy Bitsy.
Itsy Bitsy.
Yes. And he also does special effects too. He's done some special effects for some other stuff, but he's currently writing something right now. I saw it on IMDb. So I'm really excited about this because it looks like he has found his niche. Without further ado, Mr. Jason Alvino. Hey.
I'm telling you, that
I know that guy.
that beard is so perfect. It's spooky, man. What is your secret? You gotta tell me.
I looked like I just like stumbled out of the forest, like
That's what stumbled out of the forest is?
an hour ago.
Like
You know?
you've been cutting wood with an axe.
I mean, there was like twigs and birds in my hair. I just all personal hygiene goes out the window
Oh,
when I'm in my zone. You know?
yay. Everybody has when you're busy like that. And by the way, we can talk about this, but everybody has a method. But when you're in your zone, you can't get out of your zone. You have to do what you have to do,
Yeah.
especially when you're in a creative mood. And so we completely understand.
Oh, yeah.
We completely understand.
We're
We
just
had
happy
all
you're
this stuff.
virtual tonight. That's all. We can observe you from a distance.
Oh wait, here, look, I'll show you. I'm wearing my can't see it. My basket
Case.
case,
Woo!
Nice.
and I got my tingling tea.
Yes.
All right.
Murder,
Oh, I
She
love
Wrote.
it. Murder,
Murder,
She
She
Wrote.
Wrote.
That's
All
awesome.
right. This is gonna be a fun show tonight. I'm so excited.
We got two weirdos on tonight.
Good.
Honey, that makes five of us. 5 of us.
Yep.
Yes, because we're all very weird.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me. This is awesome. This is like
Oh.
the View for crazy people. I love it.
Can we quote you on that on our marketing? The View for crazy
View for
people.
The scary view for crazy people.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
All right, so we're just going to really quick, you all, kind of introduce you all to people who don't know you. So let's talk about Soda first. Soda, you are you're the front man for, thank you.
So
You're front man
nice.
for Coventry Carols.
I am.
And these photos that I have to show you all, oh my gosh, it was the antithesis of everything that I love. Look at this one right here on the far right with that hair coming down in the face.
Oh,
I
yeah.
tell you,
My
I
hair.
love it.
Who is
That's a
that?
good one.
Is that hair or is that makeup?
No,
No,
that's hair. I
Oh,
used.
that's
I
hair.
had. I had some dreads and then I weaved some yarn in there. You know, good times.
Nice.
Ooh, that's dope.
Just in the front though. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I was shaved. It was shaved everywhere else.
Okay.
Wow.
Cool.
Wow.
That's my porcelain doll look.
Oh yeah,
I love
I
it.
love it too. So you've been in Coventry Carols for about how long?
I mean, we've been above ground only since January, but it's been a nurtured project since the beginning of 2020. Which 2020 does that even count? You know, so
It definitely does not.
so yeah, there you go. I mean, we've been above ground since January when we announced everything. Our record just came out 2.5 weeks ago.
And we had a record release party on March 25th. How did it go?
Really well, thank you.
Yes, yes. So one of my favorite songs on here is "The Well."
Nice, thanks.
Yes,
That's the
yes.
single. That's the first single,
Yeah,
so that's great.
I love this. Coventry Carols is just not exactly what you all think it is. I mean, it does talk about like really things that people are actually dealing with. So one of the songs that you and I talked about that I like so much was the song about medical bills.
Yeah, medication is expensive. Just
Yes.
a
Yes,
very black and white title.
exactly. And I really, it resonated with me. It resonated with me,
Thank you.
especially after I just got a $400 bill. It really resonated with me.
Mm.
So
I mean, you know, I don't know. That record is a very human record. That's what I've been saying. That's what I've been telling people. It's a very human record.
yeah.
So you recorded this in 2020? How did the idea of Coventry Carols come to you?
I mean, I had come out of a band that I was in for like, I don't know, 2.5 years. That was probably way more appropriate for this show. We were called Nox Cult, and it was very spooky and crazy. Coventry Carols is more it's definitely not as scary. But I mean, how did it come about? I've got so many ideas. I had some songs. I didn't know what to do with them really at the time. And I reconnected with an old bandmate of mine, Terry Taylor, who I was in a band called Emotion Picture with. And we started to work, and then there was a lot of chaos. So I continued writing. We were sending ideas back and forth to each other. And then, you know, come October 2021, we found our bass player, Cliff Sugar Bear, we call him. And we started recording in April of last year.
Oh.
Amazing.
And our record came out 2.5 weeks ago. And we recorded with Joey Z from Life of Agony, actually, which is cool.
That is cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is dope. That
Yeah,
is dope.
How did you
What
find
an
all these people? Are they all in your network, or did you have to audition? Or
Terry, I call him TT. If you hear me say TT, that's my drummer. I've known him, you know,
Tingling Tea.
previously, and we hadn't spoken for some time, but we reconnected at actually at a funeral for a friend. So, and then Sugar Bear kind of came in through an ad that I posted, and he introduced us to Joey Z, and Joey Z loved what we were doing, and we started recording with him, and here we are now, I guess.
I love it. And what would you describe the music as? Because I know what it seems like to me, but what would you describe the music as?
I mean, alternative indie rock. You said, you know, at before I came on, you were like indie, alternative, very 90s. A lot of people are saying, you know, we're a very, very 90s band, which is great because I think that you know, we need that right now. I think that's something that I mean, 90s music is some of the best music, so I'm glad that maybe we're kind of starting that back up, at least leading the pack maybe in town. So
yeah, I think that was the last of the great music, was the early 2000s and the 1990s. That was the last of the great music.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I will not argue that at all.
And it's making a comeback slowly, so I'm really happy to hear about that.
Yeah.
And how can people find you? Just go to your website and order from there, or can they download?
Yeah, CoventryCarols.com. The record is out everywhere. It's streaming worldwide. You can stream it, download it. You can buy physical copies. We have a cassette. We have a CD. our YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all that social media madness, TikTok. I hate it, but it's a necessary evil. And yeah, so if you go to CoventryCarols.com, you can just navigate to all that right there. Bandcamp, it's all right there. Or you can just go to your socials at Coventry Carols.
Being that this is a spooky show, do you have records? Because I may need to play some of your tracks backwards. I'm trying to find something.
We're trying to work on a vinyl. Our record label is called Rescord, and they helped us out a lot with the cassette and the CD. Vinyl is a whole other animal, price-wise and manufacturing-wise, especially right now with the world in such disarray. Vinyl, I mean, it could take up to a year before we even have it. If you know, we it's still a topic that we're discussing. We want to do it. You know, we'll get back to that in a few weeks, maybe.
All right. So if you want to go ahead and you will listen to it, there actually are segments on the page that you can go and listen to it, or you can go on the officialsoda.com.
Yeah, that's my personal website, officialsoda.com, which has all of my music and a smattering of like art and writing and a bunch of junk. So
Is that your real name, Soda?
Is that what's up?
Your real name?
Well, I mean, by birth, I'm John, but Soda comes, it's a nickname I got in high school from the Outsiders. You know, obviously you're familiar with the Outsiders.
Sure.
So I kind of just ran with it and started using it for everything. But the evolution of my name is quite a thing, which we can talk about after hours.
I love this.
I have a question. Where did you get your inspiration for music? Like, what made you say, I want to follow music? Because we all listen to music when we're young, but hearing you speak, I feel like something said, do this. And you were like, yeah. And then you picked up a guitar, and then you picked up some drums and a mic, and then you went forward.
I mean, I've always been singing ever since I can remember as a young kid. And my sisters will tell you stories about how I was like, you know, my parents would be listening to country music on the radio or something. I always knew who they were listening to. Like, everybody. I was just in tune to it. It's something that my heart was always in. And then I found some old instruments up in my attic that were one of my sisters, and I was always pounding on pots and pans and boxes. And then I started to try to take the proper route with music and learn theory and lessons and everything. But the way that I work, I was just like, I want to just write my own song. So once I got to a certain point, I started writing, and then all hell broke loose. And you know, I sing and play guitar. That's my main thing, but I could play a bunch of other stuff. And you know, I don't know, I've always been drawn to music, listening. It's been a lifesaver. So
Thank you very much, man. I feel like I'm talking to a mirror reflection of myself, because I grew up, I played 7 instruments.
nice.
And my dad was always making these jingles. And from those jingles, I would make songs. And you ask anybody who's been around me long enough, I'm always singing. So who knows?
No. Well, hey, I'm seeing a connection.
There you go. I see it too.
All right.
Awesome.
So you didn't tell me. So how did the release party go? Because I wasn't able to have it. It was at Mr. Beery's in Long Island.
Yeah,
so
it was local. We're trying to not play too much on Long Island. We're doing stuff away. Like, we're going upstate this weekend.
All right.
It went really well. The few days before that, we actually had a listening party at a restaurant called Rock City Dogs out in Bayshore. They've been really good to us, and they have a vegetarian meal, so I can go in there and not feel super gross being surrounded by a bunch of wieners, you know.
That was never a problem for you before.
Did you catch his eye roll? Did you catch his eye roll? Yeah, no, things are going well. It's been you know, we hit the ground running. I've been going nonstop with it, but it's cool. It's fine. I have no complaints. It's good. Things are going good.
Let me tell you something about this guy. All right. We used to work at Tower Records together.
Wow. Okay.
And
Nice.
he's never not been a rock star. And not just like a rock star, like a rock star that's just over it. You know, that's always been Soda, the rock star who's just like always over it, the dramatic rock star. I mean, like, it's unbelievable. We played shows together. Like, he's always been this person. like as long as I've known him. So you know, 100% authentic.
I think people who are in this business, in this type of business, there's just something about them that they exuded, and you know, they have a rock star vibe. It's just something that you have innately. You know,
we know rock stars, and they're not as much of a rock star as so over it.
Oh man, is so you're my I need an agent, Jason. My PR guy.
I good, because I need a publicity guy. Personally, you know, I've listened to everything he's ever made. You know, every band he's been in and done, and to me, like, you know, if you haven't heard it, to me, Coventry Carols sounds like if Jeff Buckley sang for Smashing Pumpkins, with the Pixies. You know,
wow.
Like, it's awesome.
Yeah, I was just listening to some of the tracks just now, and they're so good. And you're right, it does sound like the '90s, and I love it.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, it's like '90s record.
It also sounds like so not overproduced. I'm so over these overproduced sounds.
That was a big goal. I said that right out of the gate. I was like, there's no way that this is going to be all like, you know, spit shined and stuff. I knew right away, you know, what I had wanted to do, and my guys were behind me and very patient and very awesome. And it was just me, you know, my two bandmates and Joey Z, and I mean, you know, 11 months, like almost to the day, from scratch track to releasing it. So
yeah, it definitely has that sense that you're just sitting in the recording studio with you and you're just pumping something out.
Well, yeah, it's cool that you say that, actually, because when I went to do my parts, it was all completely live. I sang and played everything live for my, you know, contributions. And then after I did that to what the guys had laid down, I went and I did like a few little like backing vocal things, some bells, some shakers, some like hidden things in there, but nothing over the top at all. I mean, when you see us, we sound like 92.3% like the record.
All right. I love that. By the way, this is one of the reasons why
that's a good one.
Soda is on the show this evening. You know, of course, you got that whole zombie vibe going on. Before we move on to Jason, I got to ask, who is this in this photo? Who are these people in this photo?
I don't remember those wonderful people, but that's from an independent film called Chase Thompson.
Oh.
And we were zombies. That's at the Brooklyn Naval Yard.
Oh my gosh, this looks great.
Yeah, that was cool. That's on actually Vimeo. Is that the other YouTube thing?
Vimeo, yeah.
Yeah, it's I think the full title is Chase Thompson, a film by Chase Thompson. So,
okay.
You can see that, and you can see, like, you know, the 8 seconds of me drooling on myself as a zombie in there, if you like.
All right, so we're gonna check that out.
We have that in common. I was a zombie in a cheesy zero budget zombie movie as well.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, look,
love it.
It's just a big love fest. We got zombies, we got music, folks. We got people that stink. Jason Alvino.
I got to chew someone's arm off. It was the best. It was amazing.
Nice. See, I didn't get that lucky. I just drooled a lot.
What zombie movie was it?
The one that I was in?
Yeah.
Oh God, this was years ago. I don't even remember the name. This is like 19.
He was like zombie number 50.
He remembers. He just doesn't want to come clean.
Right. Were you a running zombie or a slow shambling?
I honestly don't think it was even released. I don't even think it was released. I
might have done special effects on it.
Really? Was it in Connecticut? Was it in Connecticut?
Yes.
Was it filmed in Connecticut? Was it filmed in Danbury, Connecticut?
Was it like, were you a zombie or like a cannibal zombie?
I was, this was about aliens that come down and go on your head like this. They burrow into your brain of dead people, of course, and then it animates you, and then you go after, of course.
Oh, I never worked on an alien zombie movie. I worked on a cannibal zombie movie. I worked on we had to have aliens on our head that looked kind of like the alien from Aliens, you know, that lays the egg. Right.
Yeah, and then
that
you have
sounds
to attack
amazing.
People.
What's
amazing.
The name of this movie?
It was the best time I ever had. I was because I'm a huge fan, and this is another reason why I'm excited to talk to you guys. I'm a huge fan of special effects.
Yes,
Huge fan.
yes.
I wanted to be a special effects artist. That was like what I wanted to be when I grew up, when I was in high school and junior high.
Oh man, so let's move on because we've got a lot to do, so we got to move on. So I'm going to put everything in post for Soda, for Coventry Carols and everything like that, just to let the audience know that.
Thank you.
Yes, that is my cat in the background. She just has to cry every time we do a show. I'm not sure what that's about.
That is my daughter in the background as well, who's learning how to use her words to scare me.
So yes, we do have background noise, but that's the beauty of being live. Yes, this is my friend. This is one of my old roommates right here, Jane, one of my really good dear friends. We have some stories to tell. Oh my. When I was a flight attendant and she was we worked both for the airline. She still works for the airline. So yes, we have wonderful stories to tell. You have to have Jane come on the show and talk about that kind of stuff. Anyway, so Jason, so we're talking about what you did, and I had the pleasure of watching Itsy Bitsy. Actually, I watched it this minute I found out you were going to be on the show. I watched Itsy Bitsy.
Yeah.
So I was so excited, and these are some of the other stuff that. Let me just pull up all of your stuff because I mean I put some.
Wait, where are you getting your information though? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I went on IMDb. And so I know that you did still photography on Hotel Chronicles.
Yeah, I mean, like, that was just like I've done a lot of jobs. I've been working in film since I was like 15.
Wow.
With independent films with the Long Island filmmaker and just doing different things. Sucker Punch, I worked at this company called Quantum Creations when I was out in LA. Fantastic company. They do a lot of like superhero suits and stuff like that. We did Sucker Punch. We did the suits for Tron Legacy. That was like my first like big job in the industry. I had prior to all this stuff, I had a makeup effects company based in Brooklyn called Wicked Effects. Me and my two partners did a lot of crazy low budget, no budget movies. We had a great time. And I love doing special makeup effects, and I loved working at Quantum. I mean, just great guys. They're Steve Johnson's old company. They're like his crew, and they kind of like bought when he was doing XFX back in the like 80s, 90s, whatever. Whenever he got out of it, that company took it. Like those guys took over the company and kind of ran with it. So just working in that shop when I was there was amazing. It was like, running foam with the guy who played the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and
oh my God,
legend. It was just awesome. I love it so much. I love special makeup effects. That's how I got my start. I just loved it. But I have an autoimmune condition that flared up when I went to when I was in California, when I was living there, and working in a special effects shop, it's like working in an auto body shop. There's a lot of fiberglass, there's a lot of chemicals. You wear protective gear and everything, but I couldn't do it anymore. It was like causing me to have my condition flare up. I had to go through chemo. It was like a whole thing, and I couldn't do it anymore. It was just too much. It was just too much. So I was always interested in writing, and I segued into writing. And the first project I ever wrote, me and my writing partner at the time, we wrote a spec script, and he made a movie, and he had representation and whatnot. And we sent the spec script cold to companies, and Darren Aronofsky's company worked with us for like 3 years developing this script ultimately,
Wow.
ultimately it didn't work out with them, but it was just a crazy experience. Like, you know, working with like a real director, a real company, like all the stuff, giving the notes. It was like, you know, I never went to film school or anything like that, but that was like going to film school.
That's
And
amazing.
then, yeah, and strangely, right after that is when I started working with Micah Gallo, the writer director of Itsy Bitsy. Right now, I had done makeup effects. Wicked Effects did makeup effects from Micah's short film called Wick, and I think it's on Vimeo, and it's freaking awesome. Like, we did these awesome, you know, we did these like awesome monster puppets. It was crazy. It was just great experience. Love Micah to death. And he's like, you know, and it was a short film, but he's like, I have this idea to do this monster movie, and basically the conceit is it's about a spider that terrorizes the family, and it's a big spider, but it's not like, you know, humongous spider. It's big enough. He's like, it's the size of a small dog, like it can hide under couches and shit.
Yes.
And this was like his baby, right? And I was like, fuck yeah. He's like, you want to help me write it? Sure. You know, I don't know what I'm doing, but let's do it. You know, like, that was 10 years ago. 10 years ago.
Wow.
And we wrote draft after draft after draft. Micah was, you know, coming up as a visual effects producer. He was trying to find financing, you know, from studios, taking the script around, talking to this one, talking to that one. 10 years. Was at a point where we worked on it so much, I didn't know what else I could contribute to it, but he still felt it wasn't quite where it needed to be. And another writer jumped on, you know. We worked with that writer on this for a little bit, but that didn't quite work the way he wanted. So I ended up coming back onto the project, you know. And it was like just this friendship over these years and years with Micah. And ultimately, he's like, I'm doing it myself. I'm going to raise the money myself. I'm going to do it completely independently. And he did. The guy literally put his money where his mouth was and made this film.
And he's got a great cast.
Yes.
And
He pulled in some good cast.
And it comes out looking like a really well-budgeted movie. I mean,
It looks like it was a $10 million movie.
Yeah.
Not made for 10 million, anywhere near $10 million. You know?
I was really amazed at the creature effects. I was amazed at the whole first part of it, the whole indigeneity at the beginning.
This great
indigenous
artist,
origin.
Dan Rebert, he did a lot of movies. He made the spider come to life. We had a fantastic sculptor do the spider, you know, and it like the writing that stuff helped because I obviously had a special effects background. So we would talk about gags, like the very first gag we had, right? Something that, and I still have my journals from it. I scanned them for the Blu-ray. I don't think it actually made it onto the Blu-ray, but the scene where the spider's in the bathtub, that shot, that like
the overhead shot of the spider, yes.
Person at the sink and this big spider just flat in the middle of the tub. That was like day one. That was like writing day one, that scene. And through 10 years, you know, and then like when we finally, you know, when I wasn't on set because I was back in New York at the time. But when I saw the rough cut and saw that scene, it blew me away. I couldn't believe like something. That's when everything really kind of clicked, like something that you can just create in your mind, write it on words, and then it becomes everyone can see what you see.
Yeah. I love that effect. I have to tell you, that was one of the scariest effects for me. As someone who has arachnophobia.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, the spider didn't even have to move. It just was there.
It just was there. The visual effect of alone was just like, it gave me the creeps. You know, it reminded me of something where I used to live in Missouri when I was a little girl. And I remember one night I didn't wash my clothes. My clothes weren't dry or something like that. And I went to go hang my clothes out on the sun deck. And when I turned around, there was this huge spider that was big enough that actually covered the window, the kitchen window. Its legs were long. The body was small, but the legs were long. And I swear my parents did not believe me because it was gone the next day. But it was humongous. That thing could caught a baby rabbit. That's how huge it was.
Let me tell you,
Ew. Ew.
for the longest, like, for years, we would obsess, Micah especially, obsess over spiders. I effing hate spiders. I hate bugs. I just hate bugs.
I hate spiders
Yes,
too. I hate
anything that
spiders.
does, and if it has more than 4 legs, I don't like it.
I hate it. And it's still scarred in my memory, some of the footage of spiders we had to watch.
Ugh.
He had he had this big disgusting spider. I think it was a tarantula, right? But he had it in like lucite, big thing the size of your hand, and he would always have it on the desk. I'm like, get this away from me. I don't want to even see this thing. I don't need any inspiration. Like, this thing is horrific enough, But there was just, even Itsy Bitsy and the writing of it and the production, it was like another film school. It was like another writing school, just seeing everything came together. The guy who did these 2 posters, by the way, I forget his name. He did the Nightmare on Elm Street posters.
Yes.
I can see that. Oh my God.
Yes.
Yes. In the left side one. Yes.
I can't remember his name, but he's an amazing artist. Like, how cool is that?
Yes.
And
Amazing.
Leslie, just to kind of catch you up a little bit, me and our mutual friend Rob reconnected at the movie premiere that I threw in my hometown theater.
What?
Yeah, at the Franklin. Are you guys Long Island based or city based?
So I'm now living in Newark.
Okay.
But I lived in Long Island for many, many years in Lynbrook. Yes, and my husband is from Uniondale.
We had it at the Franklin Quad, like the Franklin Square movie.
Franklin Square movie theater. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah. And it was the most amazing night. Packed house. Soda was there.
It was amazing.
And
we
I
were so
saw,
proud of him.
and I saw my mother almost ruined the whole thing.
Oh my God. Are we gonna
What?
tell that
Like,
story?
Did she yell? What happened?
It's like, what is this? Where's your name?
She's like the Everybody Loves Raymond mother.
Oh.
We had such a blast, and I actually had to put the whole thing together because the company wasn't going to do it, but it did have a theatrical release, which I can't believe to this day. That like the stupid thing we did 10 years ago. It's not stupid, but to us it's like 2 friends hanging out writing this movie about a big spider, but it's like a real thing, for better or for worse. But it's not Gone with the Wind, but it's like the best. It's awesome. I love it.
The
And
thing is that you completed it, and it's a good movie. It actually
I couldn't believe
accomplishes it. It accomplished what it was supposed to accomplish, and that to me is worth. I don't care any blockbuster or anything like that, because now it is going down into the archives of horror.
Always there.
Yes,
right. It lives like any art, whether it's film or music or a comic book or any kind of art, a performance of any kind. It's like it lives forever, like no matter what happens to me, no matter what happens to us, this thing is always going to be somewhere,
exactly.
And it was so awesome. And that's where me and Rob reconnected. and it was crazy because then COVID hit.
Yeah.
The theater shut down. The theater's closed. I was like the last movies to play there, and it was like, this was the theater I would see like all the movies I grew up watching and being inspired by.
Yeah.
We had Madman Mars at the screening.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Like a real 80s slasher was at our screen. It was amazing.
That is awesome.
And Rob was there when we reconnected, and then COVID hit, and I know he talked to you, told you, but I wanted to help out. I know he was doing a drama class, and I just was like, what can we do to make this easier or fun for the kids or whatever? Great group of kids. You know,
Yeah.
as soon as things kind of level off, we're going to do it again. You know, because that's something I really enjoyed, and I didn't plan on that at all. Like, I didn't even think I would be good at something like that.
Wow. Well, you know, listen, that's the thing. It's a natural thing. Creativity is natural. And when you're giving it, it's a gift and it's new to everybody. So you'd be surprised what creatives have within them as far as teaching and doing stuff. I mean,
I was
everything. Yeah. But listen, let me just say, as a creative, everything that you've seen at the beginning of this show, all that stuff like that, this is all stuff that I put together. I had no idea. And if you had told me, you know, 2 or 3 years ago.
2 years ago.
I'd be like, I don't know how to do that. You know, so, but I'm telling you, the thing that's most important about creatives is that whatever is innate or whatever is in you, that you put it out for people, that you share it with people.
Yes.
So you accomplish that. Now you're writing something else right now. You're working on something else I saw on IMDb.
What did you see on IMDb?
But you're working on something right now about a serial killer.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot about that. Okay, so
Okay.
This is another crazy story because of things, because of all the like attention Itsy Bitsy was getting or about to get. That movie I worked on, Dark Was the Night, right? Have you guys followed? Do you guys know about the whole like Fangoria drama that happened?
So what happened at Fangoria? Because
No.
what happened with Fangoria?
Spill the tea.
Yes, spill the tea,
Jason,
spill the tea.
Come on.
Okay. It's hard for me to, I'm going to just say this, right? Like, I worked with a producer on Dark Was a Night. I had a great time with him, great experience with him. I thought he was a sweet guy. He ended up, and I had been in contact with him for years. He ended up buying Fangoria, right? He ended up kind of rebooting the company. If you remember, they were doing those nice, thick, you know, quarterly bound. They were making movies. They were starting to do stuff. They were putting books out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had asked a friend, I said, would you be interested? You know, I spoke to a friend of mine or, you know, who was there, and I spoke to this producer. Hey, you want to check out the spec script I wrote that I did after Itsy Bitsy? Sure. He liked it. It wasn't quite the type of movie they were making, but he said, listen, we got this other thing. There's this book that we put out called Our Lady of the Inferno by this fantastic writer, good friend of mine, Preston Fossil. Fantastic book. And they were like, we're developing it as a film. We want to make it as a film, but we're having trouble. You know, the last writer-director team that was going to do it they didn't care for it. They wanted a different take on it. They wanted it to be like the book. I read the book. I'm like, this is effing great. Like, what do you need? So I wrote the adaptation of the book, the film adaptation of the book they put out. And we had a director lined up. We had people involved. Awesome. And then the whole thing imploded. Fangoria imploded. This producer was, I don't know, Me Too'd, but not Me Too'd. It was like this whole crazy thing that I don't even want to get into it because it's just so emotionally draining, because there was a lot of collateral damage from what happened to people that had absolutely nothing to do with the issue that was brought up. Things, honestly, in my opinion, got like crazy out of hand. A lot of people suffered, including the people that actually did suffer. It was like just a mess.
Isn't that always the fallout of
nuts
right now? It's so extreme. It's so extreme, but nobody actually thinks about, after the explosion happens, nobody thinks about the casualties, people's jobs, people's careers. Nobody thinks about that.
Crazy, you know, to the point where people who had nothing to do with anything, like, everything just imploded. You could read all about it. I'm not going to make any judgments. I'm not going to say, well, this was right, this was wrong, this was this was this. I was just like way on the outside. The people I knew were simply creatives. They had nothing to do with production or behind the scenes or anything with anything. Bottom line, the whole thing completely imploded.
So what is the state of Fangoria right now after this incident?
Somebody else bought it. This new team bought it, and they're doing their thing, and cool, great. It's a brand new team. It's not any of the same people. And whatever, that's great. Awesome for them. Super long story short, that's why on IMDb it's listed. It is in development because the rights for the screenplay and the book reverted back to the author, which is awesome. So he just wrote an amazing book called Landis, about Bill Landis and the Sleazoid Express. It's blowing up. He's got another book coming out, which is kind of like a sequel in spirit to Our Lady of the Inferno. Like, we're gonna adapt that one. It's just it's a process.
Yeah.
And, that's something. It's been done. I just don't have anything. I can't do anything with it. It's not mine to do it with. But I'm so proud of it. I love Preston. The movie that we could have made would have been amazing. It's going to be great no matter what it ends up being. But I'm just happy to have been like a part of the creative aspect of that, minus whatever the hell happened with Fangoria at the time. It's just one of those things. It's just
this is how I look at it, because you could look at that as a bad situation, but it always means that there's something better to come. And I'm a believer that the creator tells you 3 things: yes, no, and wait. So that this is it. That it's very simple. A no means it's not for you. A yes means yes, give it right away. And wait means because there's something better coming along.
We kind of might have dodged a big bullet.
Exactly. Because think about how much effort you would have put into that, and then this stuff would have come out, and you would have wasted all of that time and energy into something. Right. So this is not, but listen, we've got to move on because we've got some really scary footage to talk about, and I do definitely want to talk about our serial killers. So let's do, maybe if we can get to maybe 3 of them, and then save the next for the next 2, so we can get to some of our scary footage.
I'm gonna burn through these serial killers.
Yeah, burn through these serial killers real fast. Okay. Hold your questions, everybody, until the end.
No guarantees.
We're finishing up our top 10 female serial killers for Women's History Month. This is what we promised you. So let's burn through this real quick.
I forgot about that image where she's like stabbing herself in the eye. Like, what is this? Are we beginning with Amelia Dyer? Yes, we are. So Amelia Dyer is only convicted of 1 murder, but her name is attached to the murder of hundreds of infants and children. She worked for 20 years at what's called the baby farm. It is suspected that she killed over 400 infants, which would make her among history's most prolific serial killers. She was tried for the murder of the 1 murder that she was convicted of in 1896, convicted and hanged. That's Amelia Dyer.
Look at that face too.
That is the makings of a horror movie, right?
Yeah,
there.
definitely.
Horrific. Ooh.
Yeah, no, if you definitely made a movie about, I think it'd be big as, it'd be big as like Jaws, when people would be scared to like swim because of sharks. Like, so many moms would be afraid to go to sleep, even though Amelia's, gone. But it's just like anything happening to the kid. Like, even now, I'm just
what would cost somebody to slaughter 400 children? My God. All right, let's go forward.
Let's move on to Kristen Gilbert. Now, Kristen Gilbert was a nurse who was convicted of 4 murders and 2 attempted murders of patients admitted to the Veteran Affairs Medical Center in Massachusetts. She would inject patients with massive doses of epinephrine, which is an untraceable heart stimulant. This would cause cardiac arrest, and she would respond to the coded emergency herself. She was convicted in 1988. She is serving a life sentence at Federal Medical Center in Cardwell in Fort Worth, Texas.
She looks so innocent.
She looks like someone I went to school with.
Yeah.
That looks innocent to you?
I
don't know.
Before this, the pictures before when she was young, then she looks very innocent.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's the feathered hair. It just gets me.
The feather hair. Okay, let's go on to our next one.
All right. This is number 3, right? This is our final one for the evening before we get to the other. We're gonna go to Nanny Doss.
Okay.
Is that who you have lined up,
Yes,
Nanny Doss?
I do.
All right.
I have her
Just trying to match what I'm saying to your images. All right, there we go. Doss killed. What'd you say?
She looks so innocent.
Yes, don't
They
Don't
all
they?
do. What?
Go
Doss
ahead.
killed 11 people between the 1920s and 1954, including 4 of her husbands. 4 of her husbands. 2 children. She killed both of her children. Her 2 sisters. Her mother. A grandson and a mother-in-law.
Wow.
She's known as the Giggling Granny.
I read about this one. And she like poisoned everybody, and she was like, "Yeah, I did it."
Yeah. The Lonely Hearts Killer, the Black Widow.
Yeah.
And the Lady Bluebeard. Her main method of murder was rat poison.
Wow.
She pleaded guilty and was sentenced to life imprisonment. She died in 1965.
Wow.
And she looks like she's having a grand old time. Look at
Yeah,
her.
she does.
She's like, "Hello, Dolly." I mean, this looks like
creepy. Okay, you know what, Eddie, you can do the next 2. We've got a few more minutes.
I can. Oh my goodness! All right, here we go. We're gonna really try to do it. All right, let's go to Dorothea Puente, shall we? Now she looks creepy AF. All right, Dorothea Puente. Puente ran a boarding house in Sacramento, California, and murdered her elderly and mentally disabled boarders. She would then cash in their Social Security checks. She was often called the Death House Landlady. She was charged with a total of 9 murders. Puente was convicted of 3 and sentenced to 2 life sentences. She died in 2011 in prison in Chochilla at the age of 82.
Listen, I always is scared at anybody that looks like that. Look at this. This is her house.
That's her
when
house.
I went up from the market. Wow.
Yep. Oof.
There she is.
I'm not messing with her.
Definitely not. Oof. All right. And the last one.
All right. The last one is Miyuki Ishikawa. Ishikawa was a Japanese midwife. She murdered infants with the help of an accomplice during the 1940s. Estimates suggest she murdered between 85 and 169 people. But the general estimate is 103.
What?
I don't know how they came up with that.
Find the time.
Don't ask me.
Where does she find this? Where does anybody find the time to kill that many people? That's
and why did they not figure it out? 103 people?
I do not get it. I do not understand. She sought payments for the murders since many of her victims were deserted children, and she said her services cost less than raising an unwanted child.
What?
Oh my God.
What? She received a 4-year sentence. 4 years.
Why only 4 years?
That was not in my research, so I'm not really sure. But she got away.
Yeah, maybe there was something they couldn't link, because it sounds like if she was a general killing of 103, but it's suspected that she did like 140 plus, then they don't have enough evidence to tie her to, like, let's just say, all the killings.
Well, you know what? Japan is very lenient on their killers too.
That too.
Let's just say that they are. They're very lenient. So
yeah, we're not talking about U.S., so I don't know what's happening. But
if they could find her insane, then they would be lenient with her, because there usually is some sympathy garnered for somebody like that. So
it's true.
It's very interesting. But anyway, let's get into our next subject, which is, what did I just see? Yes.
What did I just see?
Yes. What did I just see? We're right to our favorite part of the show, where we look at footage that we try to debunk. and have you try to mock, and I try to scare everybody on this panel.
This is the white lady that just said, "I'll be right back."
The caucasity, as Father Evo called it the other week. The caucasity. This is hilarious. All right, so let's get into that segment right about now. That's right, folks. It is What Did I Just See? So I'm going to set up our first footage right now. And Auggie, can you give us some news that's out there right now?
Sure, absolutely. I'll do some little segment with the news. First of all, that music reminds me of Halloween music.
Yes.
Yeah, Michael
Kind
Myers.
of funny. Yeah.
I think The Exorcist more like the
Carol
what
the
is it?
Bell. The Bell song.
Yeah, the bells. That's the one. Tubular bells.
Tubular bells. Yeah, tubular
Yep.
bells. Carol the Bells.
So my first piece of news as we pull it up. Oh, wait, are we here already?
No, go ahead.
Oh,
I'm setting it up.
As we pulled up is that there is a new Jurassic Park coming. Just when we thought we were safe to go back to, watching movies without dinosaurs, there comes another Jurassic Park. It's called Jurassic Park Dominion. And it's coming out in June of this year, and it has a 2-hour, 26-minute runtime.
Oh.
Can you believe
What?
that? That is a lot of dinosaurs, y'all.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So the thing that's kind of interesting about this, I know they're trying to really suck this franchise dry, but the thing that's interesting about this is you have sort of the two generations of Jurassic Park cast members coming back together. So you still have Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, but you also have Laura Dern is back, Jeff Goldblum is back, Sam Neill is back for this. So
Wow, everybody's back.
I might have to take a look at this.
I will too.
Yeah.
Yes, I have to. You
I
said
mean,
Jeff Goldblum. I'm thinking definitely
More
gonna do-
dinosaurs, more killing. Who doesn't want that? I mean,
doesn't?
come on.
I don't know.
Maybe some dinosaur action, some fighting.
They lost me when Chris Pratt was like, "No, stop," and the dinosaurs stopped, and then you're like, "Oh."
They
okay,
explained that. No, come on. There's a Velociraptors they grew up with. They would turn on him, but they trusted him enough. Come on, Auggie. Don't be like that.
Where's the scare? What's scary about that? It's like teaching Jaws to
the
stop.
Velociraptor T-Rex that was out
Listen,
here.
we don't have time. We don't have time to debate. We don't have time to debate how scary the dinosaurs were. Let's talk about this scary footage. So our first footage is coming to us from SlapTam. Once again, we'd like you to go follow, like, and subscribe SlapTam on YouTube. We thank them so much for the footage we're about to receive. This is something that I thought was really crazy. I have a habit right now of listening to really scary stories from park rangers in national parks, some of the strange, creepy, cryptid stuff that they see in national parks. And this is one of the characters that they often see, someone who comes to you with a very deformed face, as if they're trying to mimic humanness. And this is what these guys come across on a drive or a night on a highway. Let's show right now.
YouTube channel Joe Rob TV in September 2017. The video begins as the camera holder mentions that he's just spotted someone lurking below a sign along a dark stretch of road.
There was somebody walking in that distance. It looks really, really sketchy.
After he's unable to locate the figure in the darkness, he turns the car's headlights on to illuminate the area.
Or be like this. So you guys can see it with the light on.
Still unable to spot the person, he decides to slowly drive back in the direction from which he's just come. Surely enough, there's something moving in the bushes by the side of the road.
Look, he's standing like under the sign over there. I don't know if you guys can see that. He's legit.
As the camera holder gets closer, it starts to become apparent that the figure doesn't seem to have a normal face. It appears to be covered by some sort of strange mask that has distorted, lifeless features. The brave camera holder continues to get closer as the masked figure shuffles slowly towards the car. Then, just as the car passes, the figure lunges forwards. The driver is heard letting out a mighty scream, and the footage abruptly ends.
Oh, what the
Who could this mysterious figure have been? Perhaps a teen out to spook passing drivers? Or were they waiting alongside of the road for a far more malevolent reason?
So what do you all think about this?
I love
Okay.
this stuff. I love it.
Well, first of all, I don't think that that's a mask. Look at that. Look at his face. That
It
does
could
not look
be
like a mask.
like a burn victim or something.
Oh,
yeah, I
that's
was thinking
true.
about a deformity. Yeah, and maybe the reason why he's walking along the road is maybe the medication he takes puts him in a state where he walks. He doesn't know where they're going. You know, it's a pain, kind of like a pain reliever in a sense. But I don't think that's ghostly spooky. I think that's just someone with a deformity, and I don't know. It's hard to tell. His ears are really big. Like,
They
Yeah.
are really big.
I
got
agree
the
with
big
you,
ears.
Jane. That's why people die in movies, because they stop and look for people on the side of the road.
I don't know. I disagree. I think this is just it's his friend in the mask.
You think it's his friend in his mask? Or...
It feels a little staged.
Oh,
All
I
right.
think it's completely staged. I don't know why people have such problems focusing their cameras. We live in 2022, right? We have really good technology. You don't have to spend a lot of money on it, and there's always these unfocused images that people are like, "What is
Augie,
this? I
Well,
can't
that's
see."
unfair. That's
but
unfair.
wait a minute. So you have to understand that this has something to do with the year that this was taken and what kind of phone they had and their cell service. So this is
Okay.
this wasn't recently taken. It's not an iPhone,
Yeah,
15 or
Augie.
whatever.
These people are using the digital cameras from way back when, the Sony Ericsson cameras that you can just take good pictures of, but you can't take good. Come on, Augie. Don't be that person.
So what? So
All
now,
right.
like anything from our decade has been lost. we don't find any scary things from our decade anymore.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. We'll find some stuff. But anyway, let's go to our next footage. This next footage is I don't know if you all know what the Mandela effect is. Are you all familiar with that?
Mhm.
So part of the Mandela effect is that something that we remember it to be is not necessarily how it is, but it's a mass belief that it is a certain way. In particular, the Berenstain Bears. Is it Berenstain or Berenstein?
I got Berenstein.
Berenstein. Okay, I remember it being Berenstein too. Okay.
Remember Berenstein? Yeah.
All right. So, look, in the news today, a remains of a dinosaur was believed in Tennessee to have skin, organs, and teeth. So, yes.
Nice.
Yes, that's awesome. Thank you, Jane, for that information. That's pretty awesome.
That was
All right. So the belief is that the reason why there is this misconception, this mass misconception of how one person believed it is because that we live, it's a timeline issue or a dimension issue. So people have been living in and out of different dimensions. Somebody actually captured this, and I want you all to give me your thoughts on this. Here we go.
Have you ever heard of the Mandela effect? There are a lot of theories out there to explain why some of our collective memories seem to be faulty. We've even done a few episodes dedicated to this bizarre phenomenon. The Mandela effect refers to a situation in which a large group of people remembers something one way, but evidence proves that the memory is incorrect. The name Mandela effect comes from the fact that many people have memories of activist Nelson Mandela dying in the 1980s in prison, when in fact he lived until 2013. Another common example of the Mandela effect surrounds a popular series of books, the Berenstain Bears. Many of you will absolutely be certain that the family of bears spelled its name with an E, but if you look at the cover of one of the books, you'll find it's clearly spelled with an A. There are literally thousands of people who swear it was spelled with an E instead of an A. There's even an entire subreddit dedicated to this so-called mismemory. Well, this next clip takes this phenomenon to the next level. The video was uploaded to TikTok by Agent Zero, but the original source is unknown. Take a look as the camera holder explains his memories about the Berenstain Bears.
So I had this book. Again, it's my nephew's, but I had this book in my closet when they came over. I wanted to give it back to them. I planned on going out there to see them. And I dug it out, and I noticed that the Berenstain had said Berenstain in that room. But I come out here into just the normal other part of the house, and it says this. So, just so you know I'm not crazy, I'm going to show you as I pass through this doorway what happens.
Then watch what happens when he enters the bedroom.
All right, it happens when it gets in the room. See it? And then back out here, normal. Yeah.
The name on the front of the book clearly changes.
And then normal. I don't. This just creeps me out, man. I don't even like to be in this room anymore. But I sleep in here. But look at that.
At the end of the clip, he holds the book up more closely to the camera, and yet again, we can clearly see the name change as he enters the room. So how could so many of us have the same incorrect memory? Science tells us it's very easy to develop false memories, but some people insist that they must be living in an alternate, slightly different universe.
So, what are your thoughts on that, you all?
I had to put on my glasses for this one. I'm going to pull a page from Augie's book and say that we live in the world where the technology is so advanced. I don't understand why the first walkthroughs throughout the door were so blurry until like the end when he brought it up. So I'm thinking it's staged. Now, on that said, when it comes to memories, it's not that it's false memories. It's just that the brain makes you remember a certain way. Like we'll all remember this conversation differently, you know, without reviewing the videos later on. We'll all remember this conversation differently. That's just how our brain copes. It's possible that maybe the people at the Berenstain Bear Company was like, you know what? Let's mess with millions of people by making books that have the A and the E, maybe some that color change, whatever, so that way years later we become relevant and make some more books. It's possible. But I don't believe it's anything spooky. Unfortunately, I think that was digital. That was all played. It was staged. If it wasn't, why couldn't I? Like, it's blurry in the first 20 seconds, but then he holds it up and we can see it change.
So actually, if you're looking at the footage, and we will put it in post, you can see it because we're watching it from the perspective of us doing a side screen. You can't see it, but it says Berenstain.
I can't see it, and I don't trust anybody with a spooky nurse, whatever that thing was in the hallway.
On the wall.
Yeah,
that might be why he has two dimensions in his house.
It sounds like a setup. That's what it sounds.
Yeah,
like.
that's just planted there. That's cheese. That's Uber cheese. Next.
You know what? I'm really into the whole kind of, you know, melding timelines.
Yes.
By the way, I should also say I'm 1000% a believer in things. I have had I'm a believer, full stop.
Absolutely.
The timeline thing, the branching timeline thing, I think is a real thing. I think the Mandela effect, Mayhem, you're right in the sense that people do collectively remember things differently, but there's some stuff that, you know, I think the whole Y2K thing was the branching timeline. You know, like it didn't explode, but I think it shifted. You know, everything that everybody's been through the last whatever how many years has been like, you feel like you're living in an alternate reality, and in some ways we are. You know,
Yeah.
we're all seeing it, experiencing it differently. So if it is fake, it's an awesome gag, you know, like it's something that can be faked, but just because something can be faked doesn't mean it is faked. You know, it just means that it can be faked. So who's, you know, it's almost like it could be real, but it could be fake, but it still could be real, you know?
Jason, do you believe is what you're saying? You're saying you believed in it.
I thought it was a really cool, that was really cool. And that's not like the first thing I've heard of something like that happening, where it's like a spatial anomaly happening, like something is fine over here, but then you move over here and something's different, whatever it is.
I'm with Jason.
There's like precedence for it. It's also such a weird, like, it's really clever, you know. If it was a gag, it's really clever.
That's what I was thinking. I think it's really clever.
But it's really effective. And usually, like, you know, you have a reaction to something where it's like, oh, this is scary, or this is creepy, or that's a mask, but yeah, whatever. Something like that, it kind of hits you a different way when it's so simple and clever. It's like, it's just changing from an E to an I. It's like, it's not this big hocus pocus thing. And again, like, I don't know, like, I don't know if it's real, but I think it's clever. If it's not, it could be. I think, you know.
I've been doing a lot of research on this whole timeline dimension thing, and the levels of dimensions in which we live in, that alternate universes. Some of the footage that we've actually watched where there are mirrors involved, where one person is actually looking in the mirror and then the other. We've seen a couple of those here on the show. That is timeline dimension, alternate dimension issues occurring at the same time. So I'm just saying that I believe in it. I believe that it is definitely, there might be some truth to that. And the
You're
guy,
right, Jane. They did say that.
Yeah, the guy said he was really, really, you know, I don't know. He sounded scared to me. So let's go on to our next footage. This one, you all go ahead.
I was gonna say, me and John are gonna have to be the anchors of the group. So when we go into this cave, me and John are gonna be the ones that are like, you know what, stalagmites, whatever. Let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I didn't buy that either, by the way.
So this came from actually was on the news, you all. Now, what I love the most about this is that I have to tell you, when stuff happens to people of color, you better watch it, because we don't spend time trying to create stuff to scare nobody. Okay. So this actually happened in Spanish Town, Jamaica. They said that a duppy, which is what is called a ghost or a spirit, was trying to capture this boy and take him away. I want you all to watch this and you all tell me what you think about this.
Leila Enriquez viewed the spooky footage brought to us as evidence of the tales. Now, we must warn that some of the footage may be troubling to some viewers.
This 11-year-old boy claims he is being haunted by a ghost. For the past week, word of the so-called duppy has caused alarm on Martin Street in Spanish Town. The family says they've tried praying for the boy and taking him to church, but the ghost would only follow them inside, causing havoc, pulling the boy and throwing objects wherever he goes. Our news team was in the neighborhood Wednesday night to witness some of the events that have residents convinced of an otherworldly presence. Watch closely and judge for yourself.
Right now. Yeah. Yeah.
They say that's how it's been for the past several days. The boy says the ghost is actually a friend who died 4 years ago. He claims the friend suddenly started appearing to him wearing a white top, black pants, and a black watch. It's been nothing but chaos for the family and neighbors.
Him licking him down, him drawing him flinging the figurine, him fling the slippers, he lick me in my back, he lick me in my temple with it like the little stone. Him just a fling and draw him out of the bed, draw him in a corner, draw him everywhere and go.
When I go around there, I feel this whole pie eat and thing. So like I couldn't breathe and me end up that him run out and me there and me say, yo, me not see nothing. So me end up I come out now and when me turn me back, one lick me get in my back with a figurine.
Watch again as our news crew filmed a second incident similar to the accounts we were given. This time, the boy claims he sees the ghost standing near the wall and goes over to stand next to it.
Touch her? Tell me when him a touch her. Him a touch her? Him a touch her foot? Yeah, what?
So, is the Martin Street Duppy real, or are the events the expert acting of a mischievous child? Kalila Enriquez, CVM News.
What are y'all thoughts?
Real.
Definitely real.
I mean, I'm a
Real.
firm believer in all that stuff too. I've had some wild encounters, I guess. Like Jason said, I'm a firm believer. I'm 110% a believer. I mean, the previous video that could easily have been done, with the Berenstein or whatever. Not that isn't a thing that could happen. But this, I mean, when it comes to ghosts, man, I really don't play around.
This video scared the shit out of me. That's real. Totally.
Yeah.
That's real. Did you guys see Hell House? Remember that? Did you see that movie, Zach Bagans movie?
Yes.
That was all real.
That was real. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what made me think about it. Everybody talking about and just so you all know, there was very much, it was a lot of Creole talking here, Jamaican Creole. So it was patois rather. So basically what they were saying, I think that was his grandmother talking about how the duppy like licks him and does stuff and touches him and does all kinds of stuff. Now, I don't believe that is the ghost of his friend. I think that it's a demon. I definitely think it's a demon portraying that, because no child, if it's a ghost or if it's a benevolent ghost, would grab a child in that manner, as if he's taking him off, pulling his leg, pulling his chair, all that other kind of stuff. Very scary to me.
We've seen images of people being attacked like this, and it's just not natural. Like the way that his seat was pulled back was just sort of violent and unnatural from the way he was sitting. The way his leg gets pulled and then stays in the same location as he tries to come away, as though someone is holding it.
Right.
It struck me as something to believe in.
Yeah. Mayhem.
That was scary.
Mayhem is very quiet.
So
that's because he won't be able to sleep tonight. That's why.
Not Duppy.
So my family and I are from the West Indies, so I know about Duppy. I know about we do a lot of things. We sage and all this other stuff. I'm on the fence, but nonetheless, I'm worried as to why this kid made the news and they didn't think about exercising whatever it is that's following him around and because like that's cool.
They said they've been trying to take him to church and the thing follows him in the church.
That's fine. Exercise it in church and just let it go. Like leave it somewhere, because when it comes to spirits, West Indian people don't play. People don't play.
They done tried to take him to church. And it's not happening.
I don't see no type of evil eye around him or even at the door. And y'all know this kid is being, you know what? Burn it. Just burn it. Just burn everything. Holy water. Just burn it.
So I want to thank Kalila Reynolds Media for that footage. Thank you so much. And so we're going to show our last thing. Of course, I always save my best for last.
Oh, good.
Yes. Something scary. So let me see what I am going to show you all.
Well, while you look, I actually have some interesting news for you. I don't know if you've heard this yet, but Hulu is actually coming out with a TV show that was inspired by American Psycho.
What?
And let me tell you who the person playing the lead is. Sebastian Stan. I know. I knew you would go crazy for that.
I'm such a crush on him. I love Sebastian Stan. Oh my gosh.
That's pretty good casting, actually.
Yes.
Yep.
He's amazing.
So the show is called Fresh. There is some other, it's not an exact retelling of that American Psycho story, but it takes a lot of the inspiration from American Psycho. A lot of the music is all 80s music that are inspiring all of these things. A lot of the actions that we see of the lead are mimicking the I think the guy's name was Patrick in American Psycho.
Yeah.
Yeah, the character's name was Patrick. So That is coming to Hulu very soon, and I know Les is going to watch every episode as soon as it comes out because it has her boyfriend.
I can't wait. Yes, my boyfriend is in it. So that's understand. I have many boyfriends, and that's one. All right, so we're going to make this really quick because we got about 10 minutes. I could show you some longer footage, but this actually happened last year. I remember it happening, or 2 years ago, on Mother's Day in the Philippines. A woman was actually cooking dinner for her son, and she lets him play with her cell phone. And someone appeared in the cell phone that's been dead.
Was this an iPhone or an Ericsson?
Oh, I'm not really sure what phone it was in the Philippines, but whatever it is, it captures dead people. So let's watch that. Go ahead and talk while I'm setting this up, please.
I don't know why I keep coming back here to get scared out of my mind.
This is very scary. You guys didn't tell me. I'm a wimp. He
really is. He gets mad at me because I watch super heavy dark movies.
I can't. I watch nonsense, and I can't watch any horror movies at night. I will only watch them in the day.
Well, you and Mike are the same way. Like Mike will not sleep tonight either.
No, it's very scary.
I have someone I can cuddle with.
Now I do, and now I'm scared of duppies.
Not for nothing, Duppy, no jokes. So.
Yeah, and then you know what? Now everybody's gonna appreciate you. You go to your Jamaican friends and tell them, that you saw a duppy.
Don't tell them you saw a duppy. Tell them you watched the video in which a duppy was shown. Don't say, because they will not be near you for a long time. They will leave you alone. We don't need that type of negativity.
So Soda, you're a big horror movie fan?
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right.
I mean, I love my 80s horror,
Oh, yes.
But then like I was saying, Jason kind of gives me some grief because I really like a good heavy movie. Like I want to be like emotionally ruined.
Miserable. Just miserable. The more miserable, the happier he is.
What is your movie that has like emotionally ruined you?
Yes, that's my question too.
I mean, there are many, but as of recently, like the past, I don't know, 10 years, and I recommend these movies to everybody that'll hear me talk about them. There's a movie called Grim Love, which is based on a true story that happened in Germany some years back about a man that wanted to be eaten and another man that wanted to eat another man.
I saw that. Yes.
It sounds very macabre and very grotesque or whatever, but at the core of that, I feel it's just really a lot of like loneliness and mental illness that isn't being addressed there. So it's actually quite sad. It's quite sad how far you'll go to feel something.
I absolutely did not think I would like that movie, but I ended up really liking the characters a lot in that movie.
It's brilliant.
It was amazing.
And you really are drawn to them. And then there is a movie called Red, White, and Blue, which is like a super duper gritty revenge movie about these three characters whose lives intertwine. Anyway, this is like a whole other show unto itself. Les has got some action going on here, so let me just up.
All right, so let's know this. This was posted on YouTube by Officer Superman, but he received this from Paranormal Caught on Camera. I looked for the original video because I actually saw it 2 years ago and I could not find it anywhere. And it could be that I was rushed for time, but they captured it here. So they're going to give you the whole story about what happened when this occurred. And here we go.
Mother's Day weekend 2018 in San Jose, the Philippines. While Teresa Ocampo cooks dinner, her young son entertains himself by taking selfie videos with her phone. Hours later, with her son in bed, Teresa nonchalantly reviews the selfies and sees this. In the foreground, her son, and right next to him, her mother, who had died a year earlier. The figure maneuvers in and out of the shot for several seconds, the boy seemingly unmoved by her appearance behind him, before the footage ends. The photo to the right shows her mother when she was alive. and the resemblance is undeniable.
My name is Teresa Ocampo. I examined it closely. The face really was that of my mother. I was so scared that I couldn't talk anymore.
This clip was super creepy to me. I can't even imagine my grandmother looking dead and gray with these huge black eyes. My God, that's...
So,
real.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. That is not her grandmother. That's not her mother. That is a demon. That's a doppelganger. And it's actually, you know, playing up to the child because it's something the child is familiar with. But when you see something like that, this thing has black eyes and it has scars around its face. That is not his. That is not his grandmother.
First of all, that's horrific.
That is super scary.
Take this away. Take this away.
Okay, I'll take it away.
Okay, now we can talk about it.
I was gonna say if it's fake, it's somebody wearing a mask because of the eyes and everything. But if it's real, burn the house down and get a new phone.
I
Because
always say burn the house down.
see,
Always.
Jason, we here.
Burn the house down. You can get
Holy
your house.
fire.
Yep.
That thing is definitely
really scary.
demonic. Demonic.
It is definitely. If it was a mask, it was really well done.
Mm.
And I don't think it was a mask.
So would the child still be able to see the doppelganger if there wasn't a phone?
The child, obviously, based on how the child was interacting with it, has seen the grandmother before.
Right.
He wasn't terrified.
I'm just saying so like the child is looking at the phone and it sees the grandma, right?
Like,
Say there wasn't a phone.
Right,
would
right.
would you see the doppelganger just walking?
I think the child has always been seeing the grandmother. If you looked at the interaction between the child and the thing, the entity, it was as if they do this all the time.
Oh no, we got to get some sage. Never mind. That is ridiculous. That's crazy.
That child was not terrified of that entity.
No, and it was so nonchalant.
Yes.
And the thing knew. You
Yeah,
know?
that's a scary one. Wow.
Yeah.
And you know what? You know what else too? The fact that it was, you know, people think, oh, I saw a ghost. They think it's like Ghostbusters, where you can see through it and it's glowing. It's not. They just look like as if it's a regular person there, but it got the black eyes.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
the black, soulless, dead, evil eyes. There was nothing joyous on her face. Nothing that looked like the picture that they compared it to.
No, that was
That's true.
Bad. I'm not going to the Philippines or Jamaica. No duppies, no doppelgangers for me.
I'm telling you, indigenous spirits, though, I'm telling you, whatever's there is older than we can even imagine.
Did you guys ever see a movie called Sir No Face? Do you know about those movies? Holy cow. Stay on. Stay on after.
No
Stay
Face.
on. If everybody can stay on, let's talk.
All right.
You guys got to watch these and then do a whole show about them. You're gonna freak out.
Oh, I gotta watch those.
Wow. Sir No Face, 2018.
Yeah, Augie's on the case.
That's the first.
Oh, yeah.
One. There's two others that are like mind blowing. And
Oh,
I don't.
Documentary chronicles the bizarre events reported on Sydney Harbor's Cockatoo Island and the mysterious circumstances surrounding the only known paranormal investigation in history to be officially sanctioned by the Australian government.
Ooh, that's my kind of stuff.
It's absolutely bananas. I don't want to say anything else about it. Don't read anything. Just watch it. Just
Okay.
watch it. And then
Can't
there's
wait.
two other movies after that that go deeper into it, but don't look up the other two movies because it might spoil something.
All right, we've definitely got to talk about it. Well, we're at the top of the hour, you all. This has been really a great show. We could stay here in this moment forever.
We're only beginning our conversation. It's true.
I know, right? So I definitely would love to have you both come back. You know,
awesome.
Next month, I guess. You all want to come back?
As long as it's not as scary as it was.
Oh, it's always scary. I'm sorry,
always
Jason.
scary.
It's always scary.
That's our thing.
That's what we call the tingling tea.
Too much. I can't.
Oh, Jay.
Too scary.
Oh.
I'll tell you why. Right after we get off, I'll tell you guys why.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of crazy stories too. It's there. Some of them are really personal though, but I'm definitely gonna go over to Jason's house super late tonight and like
Totally.
climb up his window or something.
Nope.
Yes. And take a good phone with you and take a recording of that, please.
And my Berenstain Bears book just in case.
Yes, your Berenstain Bears. We might have to have Jane come on and talk about her experiences of getting 2 voicemails from people who have passed on.
Wow.
Yes.
Jane,
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stories.
Yeah, definitely a lot of stories about that. Well, you all, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure scaring you tonight. You know, we'll be back here next Tuesday, God willing, here at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Same time, YouTube, Facebook, Live, and Twitch. And it has been a really wonderful night. So without further ado, what do we usually say when we end our show?
Stay spooky.
No,
See
it's
you
too
next
scary.
week.
I don't want to.
Yes, John.